Light successfully beat L and killed him in Death Note, but this is how Light could have beat him even earlier. One way he could have for sure beat him quicker than he did is if Misa had never got her hair on the envelopes the task force got, which they used to have evidence against Misa, and that made her look like the second Kira. And also if the first time L met Misa, she had remembered his real name. Because if both these things happened the way I said, they would have never been brought in and put in a cell, and Light would have been able to find out L's real name and then kill him. But of course, Misa's not the smartest and a lot of the time can make big dumb mistakes like these. So Light got a little bit unlucky with who happened to be the second Kira, and that it was Misa, because most people wouldn't have messed up the way Misa did. So yeah, that's one of the ways L could have been killed by Light even sooner. Another way though, like I mentioned before, if Misa never put her hair on the envelope, and they were never brought in for like a month, just sitting in a cell, being questioned by L, even if Misa had still forgotten or didn't know L's real name, Light could have done things in order to find out L's real name. Whether it was having Misa come in contact or spy on L somehow to be able to find out his real name and this time actually remember it. Possibly even somehow find information that's well hidden that states L's real name, or even going as far as getting Shinigami Eyes himself and then finding out L's name by just seeing it himself. And this could have all been earlier than when he had killed L, because they had that month in the cell, or even slightly over a month, and then after that a lot of things happen, so a lot of time goes by, but they were never in the cells. They could have done all these different things possibly, which could have got L killed even sooner. There's also one more good way Light could have got L killed even sooner. It's kind of similar to what he did with Mikami. Getting someone like him, or possibly even getting Mikami during this time and using him even sooner than he did, making Mikami or this other person get the Shinigami Eyes and then coming into contact with L themselves or spying on L somehow, since they'll probably be more reliable than Misa, and finding out L's name themselves. And with all the possibilities I've given, it could have been Light that wrote L's name in the Death Note, it could have been Mikami or some other random person he found, or it could have been Misa. And the final way I want to mention Light could have beat L even sooner was getting Misa to make Rem kill L even sooner. The same way he manipulated Rem into killing L and in a way tricked her, he could have done something similar or got Misa to make Rem kill L even sooner. And because of the way things went in Death Note, this is the most realistic way, because a lot of my things had to do with if Misa never got brought in as the second Kira because she made the dumb mistake of getting her hair on the envelope and then possibly remembered what L's name the first time they met was, or possibly didn't. It just all had to do with me saying if that happened. But Rem could have killed L even sooner, even if they had been brought in and put in the cell for a month and everything really did go the way it did in Death Note. Light would have had to manipulate Rem earlier, or Misa would have just had to make Rem kill L earlier. And this could either work more in Light's favor or against him, because if he had got L killed earlier, they would have never been able to bring in the other person they suspected to be Kira and had caught Higachi. So it wouldn't look like there's as much of a great possibility that somebody else was Kira other than him. But at the same time, there wouldn't be as much against Light, and L wouldn't have made so much progress with suspecting Light if he was killed sooner. So that's why I say it can either work against him or it can actually help him at the same time, because playing the longer game makes him less suspected, but getting L killed sooner makes there be less L had on him. Of course, there's other ways Light could have beat L sooner, but these are some of the ways that just came to mind, and I think Light would have had a great chance of beating L sooner. I also want to point out that the chances of L beating Light were very slim. Most likely, with the way Death Note had went and how things were set up, Light was going to find a way to win somehow. And it seems like L had a lot less of a chance of catching Light as Kira and proving that he is Kira. How would Light beating L even sooner affect Death Note and how good it is? I think it would make Death Note worse because we wouldn't get to see as much of L and as much of the dynamics and relationship between L and Light. A lot of the great moments we got to see with them together, and the battle wouldn't have been as great between them and seemed like as much of a big deal if it wasn't as long. Due to this, they might make the part with Near and Mello longer, and I also find it a lot less likely that Near and Mello would have been able to beat Light if Light had killed L sooner. But either way, like I always mention, I don't think Light should have lost against Near. What had happened was impossible. Also, it was Mikami's fault. But still, I think that if Light had killed L sooner, it would have been even less likely that Near could have beat Light. We could also go back all the way to the second episode where L does pull something pretty smart and broadcasts only in Japan, so he knows that Kira is in Japan. But at the same time, he revealed to Light how serious of a threat Light was dealing with and how intelligent L was, which made him more cautious, and at the same time you can't really blame Light for making that mistake, and it's not really a mistake because you can't expect him to know that it was only being broadcast in Japan. So it wasn't really a mistake on his end, it was just a very smart move pulled by L. But it kind of helped both of them out in a way because it gave Light more on L, but it also gave L more on Kira, letting him know Kira was in Japan. However, if Light had never killed the fake L wouldn't have been able to make as much progress with the Kira case. Things may have not went the way they did, and Light could have potentially killed L some other way or just found another way to kill L if the story had went that way. Light's manipulation could have also worked a lot in his favor. Like I mentioned, all the different ways the story could have went, so he could have used his manipulation at different times against different people in order to find out more information on L and his real name. Also, there was a time Misa wore a disguise when she was looking for Light. This is a way Misa could have maybe found out L's real name without even showing herself. She could have done this the time when she first met L. Instead of approaching L and Light, she could have just seen L and watched him from afar in the disguise. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments. How do you think Light could have beat L sooner? Are there any ways I didn't mention? Do you agree with me? Do you think it's likely that Light could have beat L another way? And I'll see you in the next video.